Hey, today we're on the record on the river.
Nice.
A little change of pace for us,
For
Chief.
sure.
I mean, on a 90-degree day, what do you do? But wear your Class A's, throw on a life vest, and meet up with the river unit. So here we are today with Officer Chad Crick out on the river, as everybody can see. Nice to get out of the studio.
Oh, I'm thrilled, and I wanted to go out with the River Patrol, and when I moved here, they said, wait till it warms up. Then when I asked again, they said, well, wait till it cools down. So I'm like, no, I'll pick a day, and I picked this a dandy.
Oh, you did. So super pumped. Chad's out here in his shorts, and we're in
Yeah,
here
we're
in our all wool
in
Class A.
polyester.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
nice.
We're good. So, Chad, how long have you been on LMPD?
I'm working on my 22nd year.
Okay,
Nice.
22. You're famous for a few things, one of which is also known as Scuba Steve.
Scuba Steve.
Scuba Steve.
So Chad is a scuba instructor.
I am a scuba instructor.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've been an instructor since 2006, and I teach I'm one of the instructors with the Metro Police dive team. So I've been doing that since 2006. Really enjoy it. I've been on the dive team ever since I've been on the police department, and really enjoy it. And outside of work, I still teach scuba diving. So
Yeah.
I find it enjoyable. It's a lot of fun, and it's a whole different world, and you can escape things and go down and play with the fish.
Fantastic. So I think some people on the department have, and even the public, think that the river unit and the dive team are together. How does that work?
So the river unit is a full-time unit. So that means that when we come to work every day, that's our job, is the river unit. So as a river unit, we come out, we pretty much patrol the nearly 40 miles of river that's in our jurisdiction. We also we're one of the port partners with the Louisville Area Maritime Security Committee. So we do a lot of homeland security checks for the Coast Guard, critical asset checks, basically any critical infrastructure within the port of Louisville that we go and check out, make sure that nobody's tampering with them or doing anything like that. So that's what we do on a normal daily basis with the River Patrol, along with the waterborne law enforcement aspect and water rescue, things like that. And then the dive team is a part-time unit, which most of the people that make up the dive team, they have full-time jobs, whether it's riding the street as a patrol officer, detectives, or something like that. So they're on a call-out basis only.
So I gotta say to you, coming from a city that is landlocked, so we really didn't have water to speak of in Atlanta. There's the Chattahoochee, but nothing like this. This is magnificent. And so we've been touring here for like the last 30 minutes, and you're downplaying what you do. I mean, this is incredible. We've seen dams, locks, barges. I mean, explain to us like some of the responses that you would have to handle in your day-to-day duties, or just what do you respond to? Because this is people cannot appreciate this, and this is where I love policing. There's no place else I could be able to go tool around and understand your job and see how magnificent this is.
Right. So essentially, we're the water police. So we do the same thing that patrol officers do that ride the street, except we just do it on water. And so a daily operation for us, would come out. We would obviously check the water conditions first, because the thing about the river makes it different from a lake, because the water level constantly fluctuates. So, the level today may not be what the level was yesterday, and it may be even higher next week. It just depends. So the first thing we do is we check the water conditions to see, one, what the water level is, see how much dam they're running, because the dam is right not too far away from us. So, when they have the gates open and things like that, the water's going to start pulling toward that way. So the current in the river is going to pick up. So we check those things first. Once those things are good to go, we'll get underway pretty much regardless, unless the water conditions are so terribly bad. Then we'll just wait for a call or response. But we do some things from the land. So when the water doesn't cooperate, we still go out patrolling our vehicles and check the marinas and do all the critical asset checks from land that way. But we'll respond from anything from a boat collision to people jumping off the bridge to boats that are broken down. And during the summertime, I mean that's several times a day.
So since I've been here, there have been a couple of incidents, unfortunately, where folks have gotten too close to the dam with their kayaks.
Right.
So it's I think one of the things that I've learned since being here is it's misleading. It looks calm,
Right.
and yet it's not.
It's very deceiving. And the thing is if you're not very familiar with the river, you can really find yourself in a very bad situation very quickly. And the thing is we'll have a lot of boaters that come from the lakes that think that they can boat on the river, and it's a different animal. I mean, and you got to be prepared for that because the water does move. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, today looks like a nice day, but I mean, tomorrow maybe
Right.
it's totally different. So, so there are those instances where people can get themselves in a lot of trouble real quick if they're not familiar with it.
And then you reference the bridge, so you also have to deal with individuals who want to commit suicide jumping off the bridge.
Right.
So, and then you may have individuals who have swimming accidents. And, I realize this is not, this isn't breakfast conversation, but we're police. And really what I want this podcast to do is to help people understand the job of police because it takes a high level of commitment. When you're doing recovery and you're diving, there's no visibility down below, is there?
No, not with the river. And very rarely will we have any kind of visibility. Like if we go several weeks without rain, you may have a foot to 2 foot, maybe 3 foot at the most visibility. But for the most part, you're not going to have visibility at all. It's pretty much you can't see your hand in front of your face. And that's the whole thing about the river is with the river trail, we could be out here today, just like and you look around, it's nice and beautiful, and then we're out here having the best job that we got, and then tomorrow we could have a tragedy.
Yeah.
So when things go bad, they go really bad, and it's unfortunate, but that's just kind of the way it goes.
Your team, I've been fortunate to get to spend time with them, is incredibly committed. You all are on call all the time, and thank you. That's one heck of a commitment because I'm sure that most of the time you're probably getting paged on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah, we have two-man boat crews, so when you're on duty, you're going to be on call for that particular day. So, I mean, we do get paged out quite a bit, especially more so in the summertime. Just before, I mean, it could be anything from a stranded boat to, water rescue or drowning or something like that. So, it can be very busy.
And, to that point, you guys are so specialized and are well known throughout the state that you get asked by other departments pretty regularly to assist, right?
That's correct. We were actually unfortunately, we got called to an incident earlier last week where a gentleman drowned in Freeman Lake down in E-Town. So E-Town called us and wanted us to see if we could come try to recover the victim, and we were fortunate enough to locate him the second day. So give the family some closure. But we are the only police dive team in the state of Kentucky. We're one of the largest dive teams in the state. So our customer base, if you will, is probably more so 50% other agencies,
Got it.
and 50% LMPD.
So I could see where like the dive team and the river unit, it seems like they're intermingled, maybe doing similar but different.
Right. So anytime we have an incident on the river where we're going to need a dive team, we still got to have the river patrol to provide the boats for the platform. If we're going to dive off this platform, then we still have to have boat operators and stuff like that because they're going to be in charge of the boat. They're going to be in charge of the radios, notifying the Coast Guard that we're conducting a dive operation. Basically being on the lookout to make sure we keep boats out of our restricted area for wherever our divers are going to be. So there's the two work seamlessly hand in hand. And we work a lot of details together, and that's the best thing about our two units is we work really good together. So, and it's real seamless. Of course, most of the people on the river patrol are also on the dive team too. So.
On a lighter note, I was asking your colleagues about the fish that are in the river, and what's the one that's like huge?
Oh well, there's Asian carp in here
That's
that are
it.
pretty large. There's catfish that are pretty large.
And the Asian carp will end up in your boat sometimes.
Yeah, there's times that we drove down the river and they broke in the boat with us. So, it's crazy. The closer you get to Salt River, the more so you'll have that happen. I mean, they'll jump right in the boat with them. You got to keep them out of the boat.
Gosh. So,
Well, this is
and
great.
another interesting thing about Officer Crick, Chief, is that we have a Louisville Pipes and Drums.
Yes.
And you're one of the members. What do you do on pipes and drums?
So I'm a drummer. And
Bagpipes.
Yeah.
Bagpipes
Yeah.
and drums, yep.
So our band started back in 2011, and this is our 10-year anniversary. And we got roughly around 12 to 13 members. And some of them are active members of LMPD, some of them are retired, former LPD, LMPD, and former Jefferson County Police. We have some that are civilians. That I think we got one that's a UPS pilot. So, but our mission is pretty much to honor those that pay the ultimate sacrifice, and that's what our total mission is.
So that is so commendable. And you play the drums?
I do play the drums. I'm learning the pipes. It's the pipes are bare. I mean, it's to be proficient at it, you really got to practice, and it takes about 2 years to get up on them. So it's,
God bless you.
And your wife also, his wife also is a sergeant, and
Yeah.
she's also on pipes and drums too, right?
She is.
So what do you think, like, for officers, if officers are new and are interested in some of our specialty
This
units,
is fantastic.
what do you think, what would they need to be doing if they were interested in something like
So
the dive
if they're
or-
interested in the dive team or the river patrol, we offer a couple in-services throughout the year for water survival training. That is almost a requirement to take to apply for the river patrol. We also teach scuba diving as well, and get them introduced into that, and hopefully try to use that pool for candidates to when we have openings for the dive team. And then, the pipe band, we're constantly annually taking members. So anyone that wants to put in the time, I mean, it's a commitment for sure. I mean, you can't just come to practice once a week and expect to be proficient.
Sure,
you really
sure.
You got to really put in your time. But we're constantly looking for members for that too. So,
and I
we
will
would welcome
say,
that.
when there's a line of duty death, I'm always so appreciative of the folks who can honor our fallen with that tradition. And I know we appreciate you doing that. It's similar to the honor guard. People don't have to do it, but it's what makes our culture so valuable.
Right.
Yep.
Huge part of it.
There's no higher. For me, there's no bigger honor than to do that.
Yep.
To be able to do that.
Yep.
And to provide that. So.
Well, thank you. You have been amazing,
Yep.
and I've had a fantastic time out here, even though my makeup hasn't.
Same,
But it's
same.
been a great day.
Yeah.
So
Mine's worked out well. I haven't had any problems at all.
Thanks for giving us the tour, Officer Chad Crick, Chief. Thanks for bringing me out here with you, and that's on the record. Catch
Thank
you
you.
next time.